China's solar sector is accelerating an already world-beating pace of installations as costs tumble and demand keeps rising, putting it on track to rust past last year's record. The country installed almost 3 times the volume of solar capacity between January and the end of April than in the same period in 2022, and is on track to add more panels this year than the entire total in the U.S. Falling costs in the solar supply chain and rising consumption of electricity in the world's number 2 economy are fueling demand for the clean power source. China, which remains that heavily reliant on coal, despite its huge renewables fleet, is aiming to press ahead with expansions to meet President Xi Jinping's goal of reaching net zero by 2060. The nation could install 154 gigawatts of solar capacity this year, Bloomberg said on Monday, raising its China forecast from a previous total of 129 gigawatts. The U.S. has a cumulative total of 144 gigawatts installed at the start of 2022, according to BNEF data. Installations in China could surge to 200 to 300 gigawatts next year. Liu Hanyuan, chairman of top polysilicon maker Tongwei Cohenlu, said in an interview on the sidelines of a sector of the SNEC PV Power Expo, the sector's largest China conference that opened Tuesday in Shanghai. I know the actual development always wows us, Liu said. The energy transition could only be achieved between 2050 and 2060 when we see reality go beyond our expectations multiple times. The rise in China's deployments means the world is on track to have a total of 5,300 gigawatts of capacity by 2030, about the volume of solar that is required in scenarios under which global net zero targets are met. Other key sectors, including transportation and wind power, remain behind track. The industry's frantic expansion and whether it's sustainable will be under debate at the conference in Shanghai. In addition to Tongwei, speakers will represent top global solar producers, including Luomi Green Energy Technology Co. and Trina Solar Co. China is adding intermittent wind and solar generation at a much more rapid pace than energy storage, and there are signs that some grids are already being overwhelmed with power in the middle of the day. But massive build-out of wind and solar plants in the no desert areas. Also testing the ability of power lines to keep pace, building more renewables than the grid that have been working, former video, and 2 million people on grid at Hardy Hit Night with resources because of many people. Still, solar panel maker JA Solar Technology Co. forecast new solar installations of about 150 gigawatts in China this year, and sees potential for that to rise to as much as 180 gigawatts if lower prices boost demand. Morgan Stanley said in a note last week, the China Photovoltaic Industry Association said in February that the nation would likely install 95 gigawatts to 120 gigawatts this year, up from last year's record of 87.4 gigawatts. China is the world's largest solar market, and it's going to continue to be that way through 2030.
BNEF's lead solar analyst Jenny Chase said Monday at an convention in Shanghai.